to meet you for today's video with a full one-hit KO Pokemon team. Now, this time I'm going to be doing a one-hit KO team just with the Pokemon in Generation 9. Now, funnily enough, there's only 6 of them that get one-hit KO moves, and one of the one-hit KO moves actually is not even available to those Pokemon. Past Pokemon get it, but the newer ones don't. So I thought it'd be interesting to build a team based around this limited choice of Pokemon and see how it did. I've got 5 battles today with this team, and I really hope you enjoy. If you want to support the channel, people, drop a like on the video and tell me what your favorite one-hit KO move is. And I really reckon they should introduce a new one-hit KO move. It's been ages since we've got like a new one, right? Now, we've got a battle here. This one's on Poke Portal. I'm not really sure what my opponent's name is, but they just wrecked my Chi-Pow and sent it to the moon. Now, that Chi-Pow was a Snowscape, Haze, Recover, Sheer Cold set, max health to max speed, jolly nature. Next Pokemon going to be King Toilet. We got a Guillotine Thunderwave set, and I've also got Mean Look and Torment. So when you're on the toilet, you get very tormented. Anyway, we got that pressure going, and we got that Guillotine on the Primarina 2, giving us the first one-hit KO, which is going to be very good. Now, this is actually a pretty interesting team because it wasn't just fully evolved Pokemon. It had baby Pokemon like Litten too. Now, Litten going to come in and cook off my King Toilet with an overheat. So that was that's pretty funny. That's going to be the end of King Toilet, but it's all good there. Sometimes you lose Pokemon, sometimes you don't, right? Next Pokemon going to be Claw. Now, this is going to be a Guillotine set. We've got Guillotine, Substitute, Rest, and Iron Defense. Obviously, my only attacking moves here were one-hit KO moves, and I had some other support moves to help out the set. So Guillotine is going to miss, and a lot of these moves didn't actually land very often. I sort of, you know, when I do these things, I tend to get them in bursts, and then I'll miss for like, 10 or 20 turns and stuff like that. So we got a Focus Sash Endeavor Litten, pretty cool, and I landed Guillotine back to back, which is very, very lucky because a Pokemon with a Focus Sash and, Endeavor is actually a very, very big threat there because I could have just continually missed and lost to Litten. So I'm glad I didn't, right? Would have had to quit after that. So we got a Lotla Persian coming in here. I thought they may have Fake Out, so I did a swap into Tinglu, plus I was going to get out sped anyway. Tinglu is a great Fissure user, and it's quite funny when this Pokemon first came out in Gen 9. It's like, this is actually a really, really good Fissure user, and all memes beside. So this is a max speed Tinglu. We've got Fissure, Memento, Spite, and Scary Face. Max health and max speed, jolly nature. It was actually pretty funny because I outspec quite a few Pokemon normally that I wouldn't. So Persian's going to get hit by a Fissure, which is very, very good. So I've taken out half the team, which is nice. Also, people, I'm sorry about not uploading for a while. I've been very busy in real life, but I've got a bunch of uploads coming your way too. I've got all the battles and stuff done. I just got to, get all those edited up. So lots of content coming your way this week onwards. Probably like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday onwards, right? Anyway, so we've got a Gothita coming in here, which is pretty interesting. I only just did a Gothita evolution team, and this is going to be a Shadow Tag set. So if you remember, I got Trick the Choice Scarf before. This was a heavy duty boots Tinglu. So I'm trapped in, and the Gothita is setting up Calm Minds against me. Now, if you notice, the opponent actually had an air balloon, so I couldn't actually hit this at all. Now, this was a random opponent, so I don't know how or why they had a Gothita with an air balloon, but it worked out very, very well for them. They also had a Calm Mind and Substitute combination. So if this is anyone that's ever, if this person's out there that I'm battling, let me know who you are, because we actually lined up, I think it was during a battle stream, but it was a random opponent, right? So if you ever stumble across this video, let me know. Anyway, to cut a long story short, right, they struggled my Tinglu. Obviously, Fissure's only got 8 PP, and I used up all that PP and struggled to the little Gothita here. So this Gothita basically got 6 Calm Minds up here. Funny thing also, if you don't know, is when you actually use the move Struggle in Pokemon in Scarlet and Violet, the check target and status button will actually overlay on the screen the entire time. It's just one of those little glitches that I've noticed, you know, with the struggling and stuff like that. So anyway, the Tingaloo is going to feint itself, and, well, it's going to get, it's almost going to feint itself, and then it's going to feint to a Terra Blast. So that's the end of Tingaloo. Now, I've lost half my team. We're going to go into Dondozo. If you notice, the check status and target button is still up there. It'll remain there for the entirety of the battle, which is kind of annoying. So anyway, we've got a classic PIMPNITE special here. It's a Sleep Talk Rest Fissure Dondozo. We landed that Fissure on the very first go. Even though I had Unaware ability, the stacks from stored power still remain there on the actual base power of the move, not the stats. So it still was doing a lot of damage. Next Pokemon, they pulled out a shield on, and it had Sturdy. You wouldn't read about it. So I'm thinking, oh man, how am I going to get around this? There's one Pokemon on my team that can get around Sturdy Pokemon. Now, the reason why I use these Pokemon, instead of, like, you know, other Pokemon, like, you know, normally I use Ponytail, Horndrill and stuff. If you've watched all the one-hit KO videos before, if you're a long-time viewer of my channel, I'm sure you've seen it at least once. I try to really challenge myself and just use the Gen 9 Pokemon and try and come up with, like, a strategy. Like, say if I come across someone with Sturdy or, you know, ability that would prevent me from using a one-hit KO move, you know, like Levitate and stuff like that, I really had to use this combination with Garganacl here. So this is a Terra Ghost Garganacl. We got Purifying Soul, and we've also got Curse as well. So Curse is going to be doing some damage to the opponent to get around the ability Sturdy. Obviously, I'm completely countered here and stuff like that. So Shieldon is going to be a massive counter hit. It's probably the only time you're ever going to hear that, and we're going to block it in. So this is a block and curse combination. Unfortunately, the Shieldon actually had Fissure as well, so like, holy smokes, I've got to get rid of this Shieldon like ASAP, right? So we're going to get some more of that curse damage, but then I changed my mind. I thought I might need that a little bit later. I've got the curse going. Let's go with the Clawth again. I've got Regenerator on my Clawth too, and this is a Resto Chesto set, also Regenerator, so making it, you know, kind of hard to feint. This Clawth was max speed and max health. Generally, I ran max health on all these Pokemon, so they could be quite bulky. Looking at all the Pokemon, except like maybe like Champao, this is actually a fairly tanky team. So I'm going to go to sleep there. I'm going to get all my health back with the Chesto Berry. Now, instead of using Fissure, the Shieldon's going to go for a Roar. I guess I expected to get like some Stealth Rock damage and feint my my Clawth, right? So Clawth's going to swap out, and we've got Dondozo coming in here. I've got a lot of my health back, but this thing still remains on the field. I need to take it out with that that curse damage, right? So Shieldon's going to take some more damage here. The next attack is actually going to go down, and now it's going to be eating a Custard Berry. Custard Berry gives it priority. I thought it might use Fissure, but it didn't use Custard Berry Roar, so only up here on Shadow, and it's going to get that Roar off, getting some more damage on my Dondozo. So that's going to be the end of the Shieldon. I'm going to swap back my Clawth, got all that health back, and you know, Shieldon going to feint to that curse. It might have been more difficult if I had the Shieldon swapping out, then I had to go curse again. But the Shieldon did have Roar too, which made it kind of difficult when when I was trying to use block. The last Pokemon going to be Moltres here. Now I noticed I actually haven't terrored at all. I've got Guillotine. I can't use Fissure on this thing, so I'm going to need Clawth or Garganacl to actually get the W here. And Moltres has gone for a Terra Grass, so now I can actually land my attacks on it, right? Because it's not going to be that flying type. So I outsped. Guillotine is going to miss, which really, really sucks. And it disconnected. We had a disconnection in the middle of our battle. Definitely the opponent did not disconnect on purpose, and it was just what we got Nintendo'd basically. So they had Terra Grass, Clawth is going to feint, and I had Dondozo and Garganacl left. Who do you think would have won the battle? Seriously, I want to say unless I had landed, I don't know, I would have had to get a Quick Claw on Garganacl and land Fissure. I think I was losing that battle otherwise. Let me know in the comment section what you think, what could have happened there. Let me know. I'd like to hear your thoughts and feelings there. Let's get on to battle number 2. We got another battle, random battle here. I'm not sure of my opponent's name, but they're going to be setting out a Koraidon on turn 1, and they're going to go for that little Tibby Terra, so I know they're going to go for Terra Fighting. And this is going to be quite a difficult Pokemon to get around, because when you look at my team, right, there's like 1, 2, 3, 4 Pokemon weak to fighting, and even the other two Pokemon aren't exactly going to resist it. So Garganacl is going to get one-shotter, which really sucks because that's like my gravity user to, any Pokemon with, for levitating or flying, or, I can get around that. But yeah, I'm going to go into King Gambit this time. We got Terra flying on King Gambit. I thought this, it's a great defensive Terra for King Gambit. It's probably going to allow me to get maybe an extra shot with Guillotine. Hopefully, that was the plan. So here comes the collision course. I've got max health, and obviously it's going to resist that being a flying type now. And yeah, it's going to do hardly anything at all. So I'm thinking maybe a Flare Blitz. This also has Thunder Wave, so I can use Thunder Wave on any really fast Pokemon and try and roll them dice, right? So we're going to get a swap on the Koraidon now, and the next Pokemon I come out against my King Gambit going to be Miraidon. So we got Koraidon and Miraidon. Where's Rhydon and Rhyperior and Rhyhorn, right? That's that Rhyhorn evolution team. So we've got I actually got a miss there because I've got Bright Powder as my item, if you're curious, if I didn't mention that. So I've got Bright Powder and Pressure. So I went to Ting-Lu. Ting-Lu being ground type is going to be a nice swap in. They could have had Drake or Meteor or Dragon Pulse, but they decided to swap into Urshifu. Urshifu going to join all their other Pokemons in the center of the earth and turn into a 1D model, and that's the end of the first Pokemon, which is very, very good. So that's a very threatening Pokemon out of the way. However, they had both of the Urshifus, so I was looking at Team Prue like, man, this is like one sweaty team, right? So I swapped into Dondozo. Dondozo is naturally bulky. They're going to go for Dynamic Punch. I was like, that's pretty lucky landing that. Now, you may notice I didn't get confused there. The item that I've got on my Dondozo is Covert Cloak, so I didn't take that secondary damage, like Dynamic Punch confused me. So I'm going to be going for a sleep here. I need to get them, I need to get their health back, and I need to land a Fissure on this Urshifu. It's very, very scary with, those critical hits. Now, the Urshifu's got a Quick Claw for some reason, I'm not sure, and they're going to spam Wicked Blow. Wicked Blow is doing, let's be real, it's doing donkeys. Like, Dynamic Punch is going to be doing some, probably more damage than that. So I'm going to go for Sleep Talker. I'm really hoping I can roll Sleep Talk and get Fissure and not rest on the first go, but unfortunately that didn't happen. Now they're going to be swapping out the Urshifu and going into Miraidon again. Obviously they're going to go for Electro Drift. Now, this Donto is equipped with the Terra Ground, so I can deal with Miraidons. I tended, to bump into them a lot. And I've also got, I didn't really want to do that, though, because I had my other Pokemon, my Ting-Lu. But fortunately, I landed a Sleep Talk Fissure on the Miraidon on the second go. So I was very, very happy about that, because that was quite a big counter on my team, especially when Ting-Lu's gone. Next Pokemon going to be Lunala. It's a nice looking shiny. I don't really know what moves this is going to have. I mean, I know what moves it gets, but let's see by swapping into King Gambit here. So it might use like a Dark type move, a Ghost type move, something like that, but it went for Phantom Force. Like, okay, it's a physical one. Interesting. So King Gambit's going to be able to eat that one like a snack pretty nicely. I just went for Thunder Wave here. There really wasn't a lot I could do to this, with my moveset. Guillotine as my attacking move, I couldn't really do much. The other move is Mean Look as well and Torment. So I'm going to be doing a swap into Cloth now. I know that Cloth can't do anything either with Guillotine. They went for a Hypnosis under the electric terrain, so I think they forgot that it was still going. It only had like one more turn left. So I went for the sub here. And they're going to go for Moonlight, so they expected an attacking move. I've only got one hit KO move, so maybe they expected me to have like other moves and stuff. Once again, I can't do a lot. I've got Regenerator, so I just swapped out. Pretty much I did this just to check out what moves Lunala had, but I didn't really get, I didn't really see much out of that. All I got to see was Hypnosis, Moonlight, and Phantom Force. So interesting moveset there. We got the Koraidon coming back in. This is a very, very big worry. I need to get rid of this. I'm hoping that I can land, one hit KO move here. Sheer Cold is going to miss, and of course, Collision Course is going to take out Qian Pao's entire family tree. So I need to feint this. I really, really have to feint this because I've got Cloth, which will get wrecked. And I've got King Toilet, which you might be able to live. I'm not sure if it's got Flare Blitz or something like that. That's going to hurt too. They're going to pop out of Outrage here. Since I'm not a Steel type anymore, I'm not going to take that very well. Guillotine, unfortunately, is going to miss, and King Toilet is going down the drain. So I've got 3 more Pokeball left. I got to pull something out here, people. I've got to pull it out. So we've got Cloth, Ting-Lu, or Dondozo to swap in. I'm going to go into Cloth. and hopefully I can get this Guillotine to land, and I do on the very first swap in there, which is excellent, and that's going to be the end of the Karido, so that's very, very nicely. Lots of skill going on this game. I guess the biggest thing about this team is getting the predictions right and swapping them in, because there were instances where there were counter Pokemon like ghost types, flying type, stuff like that. So in comes Ursula, is like, uh-oh, this is bad, and they're going to land Dynamic Punch. Does a lot of damage. So Dynamic Punch is going to confuse Clorphear. I really would like to get rid of this because it's still quite a threatening Pokemon, and Guillotine is going to miss, which sucks. Now they've actually, they haven't even missed the Dynamic Punch at all. They've been spamming it and landing it. So that's in a Clorp. I've got Dondozo and Ting Lu left. So we're going to slip into Ting Lu here. Got that Vessel Rule, which is going to change everything. And now I'm going to go for a Spite. I'm going to see if I can get rid of their Dynamic Punches. So I got rid of 4 PP, which is good. Like they lost that 4 PP, and they got a Quick Claw now. So they're using Dynamic Punch again. I think they may have even run out of it because they've used it 3 times. They use it once. I think they've run out of it. They use it 8 times now, plus the Spite. And they started using Bulk Up here. Now, they use 6 Bulk Ups. I'm not going to include every single one of them, but they use like 6 Bulk Ups. I actually landed a Fissure on the very last, I think this was the 5th or the 6th one. I landed that on, and Urshifu is going to faint. So it's very, very good. I guess I'll try to boost up their whatever attack they had, like their Wicked Blow, because that was going to do nothing, right? So the last Pokemon's going to be Lunala. I'm going to go for that Fissure. It's going to miss. Now, that's the end of my Ting Lu's Fissures. I'm all out of Fissures, right? So I thought, what I can do here is I can either go for Mento or I can go for Scary Face. I was like, you know what? I don't think they're going to faint me. Let's go for Scary Face. I'll drop Lunala's speed. You know, with that, even Dondozo can outspeed now, and then I can go for the Memento, so drop the Lunala stats. So Ting Lu's going to take a little bit of a nap here. What is Ting Lu anyway? It's like a moose, isn't it? I've still got to do like a deer team, or maybe I should do a moose and a deer team. Anyway, so in comes Petra. Watch this, right? So I went for Memento on the Petra, and I dropped its stats. I'm like, okay, that's good. That's fine. So I've got one more Pokemon left, being my Dondozo. Now, Dondozo's got rest, so I don't have to worry about anything like Toxic. Now, this is pretty funny. So Dondozo's sleeping, right? Petron's popped a Withdraw. I'm like, bro, it's going to do nothing if I land Fissure, right? So Dondozo wakes up. I've landed a Fissure on the first go. Guys, it's super effective, right? That did triple the damage. So that's the end of the Petron. And the last Pokemon going to be that Lunala, right? We've got 3 minutes left of the battle. I've got lots. I've got rest. I've got sleep talk. Plenty of Fissures. And then they cancel the battle. So there you go, people. Hope you enjoyed that second one. A little bit of a salty cancel at the end there, but pretty cool. I love that Withdraw Petra. So let's get on to battle number 3. I have no idea what the trainer's name is. Hopefully someone can translate all these trainer names. I really appreciate that. And we got a Mimikyu lead. This is actually a pretty funny battle as well. So Mimikyu is going to be using Play Rough. It's, you know, just a typical Mimikyu set. And Champao is going to miss all of its sheer colds. In fact, when I think about it, honestly, looking at all my battles, Champao really landed the least one-hit KO moves out of all of them. I don't know, it just like turned out like that, right? So Champao's down. We're going to go to our Salt stack. Now, here comes Shadow Claw. Shadow Claw going to do donkeys. The thing about Mimikyu, which is annoying when you first use one-hit KO Pokemon, is you got to get rid of that Disguise first, right? So Disguise is gone, which is always good. Play Rough, Shadow Claw, they're doing absolutely donkeys, and I landed... I actually was going for a second Fissure on the Mimikyu so I could get rid of that. So I landed the initial one to break its disguise. So I actually got a second one, and Mimikyu is going to faint, which is really nice. I missed a couple of Fissure in the middle, but I kind of figured I'd probably beat that Mimikyu, unless I used all of the Fissures up, right? Next Pokemon going to be Freemon's, another naughty, scummy, hacky Mon. And we've got this Quick Claw Fissure, which of course, I can't do anything to it anyway, right? And we're going to go for Thunderous Kick. It really wasn't a Pokemon I wanted to swap into. I'll be real about that. So I was happy to sack off my Garganacl there. So the next Pokemon I thought I could bring there could be King Gambit. And at least here, I could swap it in, then go for Terra Flying, and then go for Thunder Wave, and then go for Guillotine. That was sort of like my plan there. I could have gone into Dondozo before, but I thought that I still thought it'd be nice to get like a free swap in, right, to see what the rest of their moves are. So we're going to go for Terra Flying. Here comes a Thunderous Kick, a very, very scary move for sure. They're going to kick them balloons. They didn't pop a single one. However, I'm going to get a defense drop, which is bad. Guillotine managed to land on the very, very first go, which is awesome. So that's a great countermon out the way. So Mimikyu and we've got the Zapdos. They're both gone now. Next Pokemon here going to be Vikavolt. Now, Vikavolt is probably going to go for a Thunderbolt, but I'm going to land a Guillotine on it, which is excellent. So that's going to be the end of the guillotining or the guillotine Vikavolt. Actually, it's funny because Vikavolt actually gets guillotine itself. Next Pokemon going to be Como. It's going to go for that Clanging Scales. I guess I had Bright Powder there, which definitely helped. And Guillotine's going to miss. Clanging Scale's going to miss again. So a couple of misses there. My Guillotine miss. I was kind of laughing at this point because we both were missing a moves. Here comes the Outrage. That does pretty good damage to King Gambit. I was really, really hoping I could squeeze one more Guillotine here. I actually lived on 69 health here, and we got the confusion on the Como. So I'm spamming that Guillotine button, and it missed. I'm like, all right, well, that was a pretty good effort. I got rid of like 2 Pokemon there. Then Como hit itself for confusion. I'm like, oh, I get one more chance at this before, obviously it kills me. And then I got another Guillotine off. So King Toilet is pulling out a big old flush. It's flushed away half of the team so far. Now, this is pretty funny, right? So the next Pokemon to come out is going to be Goldengo, and it used Tackle. I'm like, bro! So that was so salty. They took me out with a Tackle. So after using all those sweaty Pokemon, they had that big Tackle Goldengo on the back. So I slid into Ting Lu here. Tackle Goldengo. And I'm going to go for Spite. I can't do anything right there. I wanted to show them that I couldn't do anything. So I had a Memento, I had a Scary Face. I wanted to see what other moves they had on their Tackle Goldengo, right? Surely they had Make It Rain or something like that. So the other move was Nightshade. It was just so random. Like they had like 4 sweaty Mons, then a Tackle Goldengo. I'm not sure. So this is a Nightshading set. Obviously, not I'd say it's like a bulky set, right? And with Tackle as there was a joke. So I went into Cloth to see what other moves they would have. They're going to go for Nightshade again. And I can easily do nothing here. So here comes the Astonish. Astonish Tackle and Nightshade. What is this move? So this looks like something I would do, right? So they're going to try and take me out on the Nightshade here. All I can do is like swap into Dondozo and finish them off, right? I went to swap and they Baby Bottle. So that's it. That's the end of the third battle. I have no idea what happened there. And yes, maybe they got fed up using Tackle Goldengo. Let's get on to the next battle. Actually, I'm not sure who this is against either. Another random Poker Portal person, but we got a big old dynamic punching Crabominal lead here. So that's going to be the end of the Cloth there. I think I forgot to record the first part of this. So I got one shot at anyway, so that's the end of Cloth. We're going to go to Chi and Pow. I did a bit of a swap here from Chi and Pow into Dondozo. I think I swapped into the wrong Pokemon accidentally because, why would you swap Chi and Pow into a fighting move? I try to remember. I don't know what I did. I definitely misclicked. I'm remembering back there. Anyway, so I'm going to bring in Dondozo, and I'm trying to land these fissures. This is like, I think this battle was... Is either this battle, then I had that battle afterwards, but I'm seeing the Dynamic Punch being used quite a bit in such a short period of time. Anyway, so that's going to be an of the Yeti Crab. Is there anyone that truly likes Crabominal out there, as a Pokemon? So many people don't like it. I don't know. They're like, oh, it's ugly or it's weird, I actually think it's a pretty cool Pokemon. Anyway, so they countered with a Charcadet. I was like, wow, this is pretty cool. So they got that Lava Plume Overheat Charcadet. It's really giving my Dondozo some trouble. I don't know how I can make it. So I'm going to be swapping out there. I'm a little bit scared. We're going to be going into Garganacl. I'm going to land that Fissure, So here comes another Lava Plume there. They're trying to get that burn on Purifying Salt. Now they're going to go for an Overheat. They got that 2 special attack now after all them drops, and we're going to go for that Fissure and put Charcadet out of its misery. So that's the end of Charcadet. So they had a Crabominal and a Char. I'll give them some credit there for running that Pokemon. It's difficult. Next Pokemon got to be Lucario. So I'm like, all right, I think they're most likely going to be going for a fighting move. So what I'll do is I'll go for Terra Ghost. I won't take any damage being a ghost type, and then I'll feint the Lucario with a Fissure. I want to see the Salt, right? So here comes a Steel Beam. Like, okay, very nice. I didn't expect that. Steel Beam, the Lucario fired its full load, and it still didn't do over half my health. So they're going to go for another Steel Beam there. Garganacl is going to be able to live that one, and Lucario is going to be no more. Now, the nature on my Garganacl, this was Bold Nature, Max Health, but I did run Max Special Defense. So that's why I was taking those special moves so well. So here comes Dragonite's going to be a special set, and that's going to finish me off with a Hurricane. So very nice. We're going to bring in Chian-Pao now. Hopefully I can finally land a Sheer Cold here. And yeah, Sheer Cold going to slip on by. Here comes an Iron Head on the Dragonite. That's going to be an easy 2-hit KO. Finally, Chian-Pao actually does something and takes a Pokemon out. Seriously, I think that was like one of the only times it landed a 1-hit KO move, like in any of the battles I had that were decent, right? So out comes Skeledirge. Skeledirge going to go for a Fire Blast instead of a Torch Song, which is pretty interesting. Yeah, that's going to be the Chian-Pao, so that would have taken it out from full health, whatever, you know. Next Pokemon we got is Dondozo. I'm hoping I can slip a Fissure onto this Ghost Pokemon, you know. So here comes Fire Blast. Fire Blast's not going to be doing anything. I'm just going to go for Fissure. I can probably go for... I might be able to slip off a rest against the next Pokemon. I was just really worried about fainting it. So Skeledirge is down. I've got a nice fat lead at the moment. And now the last Pokemon to come out, it's going to be Miraidon. So like, ooh, I could go for that Terra Ground Dondozo, but I already did Garganacl, right? So I'm just going to have to let Dondozo faint here. And then I might be able to use Ting Lu. Like I'm going to have to rely on Ting Lu and King Toilet to get me the dub, right? So we got Terra Electric Miraidon. Obviously, they're going to use Electro Drift. And yeah, since look, I could have gone into Ting Lu then, but I didn't think that it was worth risking it in case they predicted that and went for a Dragon type move. They have made some pretty random plays so far. So, yeah, I didn't want to do any over-predictions, right? So we're going to go into King Gambit here. I've got the Guillotine. It's all ready to go. But I thought, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to swap back into Ting Lu. I've got to get rid of this electric terrain because it's a pain. It really is going to power up that Electro Drift. So I'm going to try and stall that out. So I thought, what I'll do here, I'll swap back into King Gambit. They'll probably go for a Dragon move here. And hopefully maybe it'll be Draco Meteor. So they went for another Electro Drift and Bright Powder kick. I was like, wow, that was lucky. Like, that definitely would have one-shotted me for sure, even like a bulky set. So I'm going to go back into Ting Lu now. Now, instead of going for that again, they went for Electro Drift. They just kept going for Electro Drift. Like, is this choice or something? Then they popped out a Draco Meteor. I was like, there you go. So I knew they had it. So then I was like, all right, I'm going to go for a Spite here. I'm going to get rid of those Draco Meteors, and then they won't be able to do a lot of damage. So I got rid of 4 PP, so I've nearly probably got rid of all of their PP, or very, very close. And then they busted out an Outrage. So I'm going for Fissure here, and I'm thinking, well, at least I've got one more Pokemon after this, right? I'm probably going to faint to the next one, and I did, right? So that's the end of Ting Lu. All I've got left now is King Toilet, and I've got to get this W, right? So we got the King Toilet, and we got that Guillotine, and I've got Pressure too, right? So the pressure was on. So Miraidon got to hit itself for Confusion. That's a good start. It's a very, very good start, and Guillotine's going to miss. So I know that it's got -2 in special attack, and it doesn't have the electric terrain anymore, but this is still going to hurt, right? If you can see the damage there, it's still a lot of damage. So that's like, I want to say a 3 to 4 hit KO, you know, depending on, minimum damage. Then they busted out a Thunder. I'm like, oh my goodness. So Thunder landed, no Paralyze, which is very, very good. Here comes another Thunder from down under. I'm on to my very, very last turn here. I have to land this move, and I did on the very, very last turn. Miraidon is going to faint, and that is the end of the 4th battle. That was an insane battle. So some very, very interesting sets there from my opponent. GG's to whoever you are. And, thank you for playing the battle out there. There was a lot of battles I had with this team where the opponent would just disconnect after, I took out half the team and stuff like that. Next battle, this one is against Trot. And actually, I just had this battle. This is actually quite an interesting battle. This team was obviously a very, very competitive team as well. So I was kind of interested to see how I would go. So Nightail's going to be the lead. Obviously, it's going to be setting up the Veil here. And also, I noticed in the team preview, my opponent had 2 very, very good counters to this team if everything went right, you know, if I was lucky enough to land those attacks and things like that, I still had 2 great counters to deal with. So, you know, more on that a little bit later. So I'm going to swap out Clawfear. I've got the Regenerator. I missed all of my moves, and then I got Free Stack. So it was a very, very terrible start to the battle in terms of, you know, RNG. I was getting very, very bad luck. So Ninetale's going to swap out into Garchomp, and then I swapped out King Gab. I was like, let's go into Dondozo. There's probably not a lot it can do to me. If they try and set up or anything, I've got Unaware, so that's not going to be too much of a problem, at least, you know, until Dondozo faints. So Garchomp is going to probably go for Earthquake. It's probably, you know, definitely its best move. And that's going to virtually do nothing. I went for Fissure, and it didn't work. So here comes the Poison Jab. They're trying to get a poison on me. Obviously, little they know I do have rest at the moment. And Fissure is going to land on Garchomp, so that's great. Garchomp was never really a threat for Dondozo. Dondozo can take them Garchomps every day of the week, right? So next Pokemon's Miss Magius. Now, Miss Magius has Levitate, which I was like, dang, this is actually very, very good. There's only one Pokemon that can actually take this out, and that's going to be Qianpao, right? Because if you remember, it's got Levitate, so I'm not going to be able to hit it with ground-type moves. I can't use Guillotine, and yeah, I've only got one move. Now, you're probably wondering, why haven't I used Horn Drill yet? No Gen 9 Pokemon learn Horn Drill, like new Gen 9 Pokemon. Not saying like past Pokemon, Gen 9 Pokemon, right, that were released in Gen 9, which kind of sucks, but that was the challenge, right? Anyway, you could say that it's basically the same as Guillotine anyway. It's a normal type move, right? I reckon they should have a one-hit KO type move of, like, every type. That'd be really, really cool. So anyway, what I was trying to do, I was just trying to play around the opponent at the moment, trying to out-predict them and stuff like that, and try and figure out a way to get in my Pokemon. I.e. my Gravity Pokemon, and then I could use the move against them. But Miss Magius being a counter was only sort of the tip of the iceberg there. There was a very, very like a huge counter after that. And unfortunately, like, it sort of forced one of my Pokemon to have to do a lot of work against 2 of them. And of course, you can guess now, it's Forretress. Like, I bet you this Forretress has sturdy. So if you don't know, one-hit KO moves do not work on sturdy Pokemon. So my options here were, I've got to use Terra Ghost Curse. Now, I knew they definitely wouldn't expect that at all. I hadn't shown any signs of being Terra Ghost or using Curse or anything like that, so I knew they wouldn't expect it. Then the Forretress had Volt Switch, was a very, very big problem. Like, sometimes they have it, sometimes they don't. I had Block, and what I was going to do, I was going to go for Block, and then I was going to go for Terra Ghost Curse and feint the Forretress to Curse, because obviously Forretress, it had Stealth Rock, right, and like, Rapid Spin and things like that. It wouldn't be able to do nothing, right? So I got a lucky KO on the Toxapex, which was good, not that it really posed that much of a threat, and then came Metagross. Now, this Pokemon did pose a very, very big threat. It was very, very, very strong against a lot of my team. And I didn't really have a lot to hit it with, outside of, Guillotine and stuff like that. And we also had it having Steel-type moves. I'm pretty sure I had a Fighting-type move at this point, too. Like, it was difficult, right? So Garganacl, and my Cloth and my Qianpao were weak to Metagross. And it had priority, too. So, obviously, and it had a Hammer Arm, too. So, that was, like, perfect coverage against this team. So, I had to land, like, a very, very low accuracy move. I had to land it, and they had, like, pretty much could get around. Even my, I found with my Thunder Wave, they were very, very lucky getting around the paralysis, right? The speed, I don't think I even got a single paralysis with this Metagross. So anyway, what I tried to do, I probably should have gone for Guillotine, but I guess I didn't expect the opponent to get so fortunate with their RNG with the paralysis, right? It just never ever happened. So suddenly I lost quite a few Pokemon, which was to be expected. And I'm going to bring in Tinglu, and we got the Metagross swapping out, and they can basically just keep going to Forretress and Miss Magius, right? Which is basically a complete counter to this team. I knew that I could beat Ninetales and Metagross if I landed those moves, right? But it was those last two I was concerned about. But I knew I could beat them if I could get them down to those last 2 Pokemon. I definitely had a good chance. So I had to get rid of Ninetales and Metagross first, right, to make that happen. So Forretress pretty much can't do any damage at all. They're just keeping it around with the sturdy ability. So I'm going to use this turn to get some rest and get my health back there for that Metagross and the Ninetales. So I figured I may have to face one of them. They may swap in their Pokemon to try and feint me. So I did a swap into Garganacl again. At this point, I was trying to go for a block, or I was trying to go for like a block and Terra Ghost Curse strategy, but I knew they didn't expect it. I think they just couldn't do anything to the Garganackle, so they just went for the Volt Switch. And then they brought in a Ninetales. I was like, okay, I can't risk this. I can't risk losing this Pokemon. It's my really only way of doing anything. So I had Gravity to bring down that Miss Magius so it wouldn't be levitating. And I had the Terra Ghost to feint the Forestress last, right? That was the plan that I already sort of thought about that plan in the team preview to try and beat this team. But of course, I had to get rid of the other 4 Pokemon first for that plan to even be a thing. So that was my thoughts in the team preview and throughout the battle. So I'm going for Rest here. Really, all I have to do here is get rid of this this Ninetales. It's not that much of a problem. I could definitely beat it with Dondozo. I don't really like stalling too much if I don't have to, but I had to like rest and sleep talk a fair bit here to get around this Ninetales. So I'm going to wake up here. Hopefully I can land a Fissure, and I was missing it. So that was a little bit of a problem. Also, I knew if I stalled for too long, right, the 20-minute timer would stop, would obviously stop a battle. So I easily could have gone rest there again. Just bear that one in mind. So that's going to be the end of the Ninetales, which is really, really cool. Next Pokemon going to be Metagross. Now, Metagross, I reckon it was a waste of time even paralyzing it because it never got paralyzed once in this entire battle, right? What's that, like 5 attacks now? So now we're going to go into Chiampa. I'm really hoping they get paralyzed this turn. And I was like, oh, come on, this will be like the 5th or 6th turn, and they got the no paralyze again, and Chiampa is going to faint. So like, man, there was virtually no luck so far, except the one-hit KO moves that I landed, which was only 3. So I'm going to go into Ting Lu. I've got Fissure to land on the very first go, and finally I've got rid of Metagross. So that was a very good counter on my team. Just hitting very hard. So I was like, maybe I can do this now. We're down to 2 more Pokemon, down to Miss Magius and Forest. She's like, this is my chance to try and beat these 2 Pokemon. So first things first, I thought, well, I can't beat them with Ting Lu. I'm going to have to somehow get Garganackle into this, and hopefully they'll stay in against it, and then I can beat Miss Magius afterwards. But I had a feeling they wouldn't, because every time they had Garganackle on the field, they just used Volt Switch, so there was no point in me, losing block or anything like that. So I thought, all right, what I'm going to do, I'm going to swap out here in the Garganackle. We have 2 minutes left. I'm going to go Terra Ghost Gravity, right? If I go Terra Ghost Gravity, that'll drop the Miss Magius down from Levitate, and then I'll be able to attack it straight up. If I can beat this Miss Magius, then there'll only be the Fortress left, and then I can go Terra Ghost Curse, right? And then I can defeat it that way. And there's no way that I don't believe that Miss Magius can, there's no way that it's going to be able to beat Ting Lu, right? So we're going to go for that Terra Ghost, and we're going to go for Gravities. That's going to drop that Levitate. So I'm hoping that I can land this, or maybe get a Quick Claw or something like that. So we got that Gravity, we got the swap there, obviously, and I got, actually, on this turn, which is pretty funny, so they fell down to Gravity, so now I can use Fissure on them. I got a Quick Claw, it's like, yes! And then they got to go for a Terra, so I'm like, okay, this is fine, unless they're Terra Flying. That's about the only, it's like literally the only thing, but I was like, they won't go Terra Flying, surely not. So they're going to go for Terra Goats, which is, to be expected. Most of their plays have been fairly straightforward so far. So I'm going to go for that Fissure. It's going to miss. Miss Magius got paralyzed, so my first paralysis, I'm like, oh, come on. Then they got paralyzed again. I'm like, oh, this is great. I've got a chance here. And then my attack missed, and then they got a Hex off. Garganackle's going to be able to live that. I'm very, very bulky, plus my ability, and Fissure missed 3 times in a row at the end. And yeah, that's it. I had Curse all ready to go on the Fortress. I would have won if I landed that Fissure and we had a little bit more time. But a pretty cool battle there. Hope you enjoyed that one. Peace out, everyone. Like the battle if you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you next time.